Hey guys, welcome to Collider Movie Talk for movie fans. I'm your host, Ashley Mova, and this is the daily show. We give you all the latest news from the world of movies, plus some insight into what it all means. Leading off the show today is Mark Ellis.
Welcome one and all to the best movie news show in the entire galaxy. Wrestling my job back from Ken Knapsack. My name is Mark, and I am thrilled to be here on such a fantastic day where we are going to talk a lot of Star Wars. Luc Besson has a new movie. Sylvester Stallone is going to be directing a boxing movie, and God might give us rock and roll one more time if Bill and Ted have anything to say about it. Ashley, who's joining me today?
Also here is Dennis Zen.
Hello, everyone. Yeah, we are back from New York Comic-Con. We were there for the entire week. We had a lot of fun. It was a lot of work, though. We flew in. I think our flight got delayed. We flew in last night. We watched the Last Jedi trailer on the plane. You can actually watch a video that we're going to have up later today that has a bunch of us on the plane watching it, our reactions live on the plane. And then also, glad to be back.
Also here, Clarke Wolfe.
I mean, I have no excuse for sounding jet lagged because I did no traveling, but we'll see what nonsense facts I create today. But thank you for having me on the show.
Also here, John Rocha.
Hello, everyone. Let's get this on. It's Tuesday morning. Is that what day it is? Let's make this happen. Comic-Con was an awesome and fun and exhausting experience, but I'm glad to be back home. And I'm wearing the colors. I'm repping the green. Collider.
You sound like a guy who just wants to get this show over with so you can get your little nap. And I might be in the same boat. I do want to give a heartfelt thank you to Ken Knapsack, who has always been the Lou Gehrig to my Wally Pipp, stepping in when I needed him the most, and I thought he crushed it. Before we get to what Ken and I's favorite space fantasy of all time is, because I was in New York and was not able to be hosting Movie Talk when we had a lot of the news break of the very real monsters that work in our industry, I did want to lend my support because I'm sure it's important. We all feel like we want to stand on a soapbox and let everybody know how we feel about this issue. But anything that I say or any other man would say is a lot less important than lending the support that we can lend to the brave and courageous women that came forward and made these sexual harassment claims public and let the world know that this is not okay to do anymore. So I applaud all of you women out there for your bravery, and I do want to thank the community for being so supportive around you this entire weekend. I think a lot of the fans really came to bat as well, and so thank you. This is something that needed to be addressed, that I hope provides more change in our industry. I look forward to brighter days when we cannot talk about things like this anymore and we can just celebrate the movies that we all love to discuss. So thank you guys, and we look forward to your continued support whenever this issue comes up. All right, Ashley Mova, now we get to talk about some Star Wars trailer news. What do we got?
We do. Lucasfilm and Disney debuted the first trailer to Star Wars The Last Jedi during last night's Monday Night Football game, as well as revealing a new poster that places Luke Skywalker front and center. Clocking in at over 2 minutes, the first official trailer touched on some story and the characters we've grown to love, as well as offering up new footage that has quickly driven fans online for speculation. The Last Jedi stars Daisy Ridley, Mark Hamill, Carrie Fisher, Adam Driver, John Boyega, Oscar Isaac, Gwendolyn Christie, and Annie Serkis, with new characters Kelly Marie Tran, Laura Dern, and Benicio del Toro also joining in on the fun. The Last Jedi is set to hit theaters on December 15th. Ellis, thoughts on the first trailer for Star Wars The Last Jedi?
Oh, I have some thoughts, and luckily I actually get to verbalize them now instead of just pantomiming them with my various facial expressions on the plane, because there was a guy sleeping right next to me. So we were all filming ourselves for our reaction, and mine's up on Schmoes, and it's going to be part of the Collider package we're putting together for you guys, but I really couldn't say anything because I didn't want it to turn into a United flight and be dragged off a plane because I was going so crazy. But it definitely ran the risk of that, Dennis, when you look at all of the great Star Wars goodness that we got last night. I'm going to be totally honest with you guys. I watched the trailer a number of times, as you might expect. And the first few times I watched it, I thought it was awesome. I loved all the outer space battles. I loved all the hints that they gave us at the relationship between Snoke and his mom, or Snoke and his mom. We don't know who Snoke is. We barely know who his mom is. Kylo Ren and either his mom or Rey, and then Snoke and Rey and Luke training Rey. But I was thinking, like, man, Luke is really scared about something. And I even was thinking, man, Hamill's really overcooking this baby. And then I started watching it again and again, and I thought that maybe either I was rationalizing it or I just settled into the vibe that this trailer was trying to give us. And I was like, yeah, that's my Luke Skywalker. I think that there's a lot of misdirection in this trailer. And it's maybe because I'm a little wiser to how Star Wars will market it now. When they're trying to hide something from us, they're going to try to give us one thing. So the biggest takeaway that I have as far as a misdirect goes in this trailer, Dennis, is when Kylo Ren's flying his ship and it looks like he's got his finger right on the trigger and he's about to blow up some First Order base. And then we see Leia. And my God, if you didn't get a little bit of the chills seeing Leia and what she's thinking in her head, maybe she's doing that Force thing that we know she's capable of doing, where she's trying to convince Kylo Ren that this is not the way to go. But in the background of that shot, there's just people for the, resistance. They're just kind of walking around. They didn't look like they were panicked about anything. So you would think in a situation, if we were worried about our spaceship or our base blowing up, there'd be more things going on in the background. So I think that was maybe this trailer having a little bit of fun with two different scenes with us. Maybe I'm totally wrong. I also think that the Rey looking at Kylo Ren and maybe even taking his hand when he offered it to him, everybody has speculated, and I know Christian has talked about this on Jedi Council, that Rey might attempt going to the dark side, especially if Luke Skywalker is hesitant about training her because of this raw power. That's a term that we heard in this trailer multiple times. The trailer itself was pretty full of raw power. What were your thoughts, Dennis?
Yeah, I think out of all the trailers that we've had, this has been, and I'm talking all the way to Force Awakens, this is the one that has the most story to it. We actually get a semblance of a story, and I think you're right. They are probably kind of misdirecting us in some fashion, especially with the Leia thing with Kylo. They're not going to show this potentially big, important, emotional scene and then have it turn out that way. And even at the end with you had Rey and Snoke with that cut. You don't even know if that cut with her being kind of lifted in the air and in some sort of torture. We still don't know if that actually is Snoke or not, because they just kind of cut to a close-up of his face, and the shot of her, you don't really see anyone in there.
You see a dude in a gold robe in the background.
Do you?
I mean, you
didn't see
can kind of see. It looks like it. Now, that might be Biff from 1985, the alternate version. I don't know who it was, but you could see something. But again, you're right. We just don't know. It's hard for us to lend our trust to everything that we saw last night.
Yeah. My favorite part, though, was the Finn versus Phasma, just because I've been very critical of Phasma's role in Force Awakens. She didn't really do anything. She didn't fight. She didn't shoot a gun. She didn't, she basically let the shields down for Finn. So this looks like kind of a redemption for her character as well. And yeah, it was Luke heavy, and that's what I wanted, and that's what we got.
Yeah, Clarke, you got a chance to check out this trailer from the comfort of your own home. How did you feel watching not the first half of the football game, because it was 3-2, but once we got to the actual trailer?
Yes, I skipped the football game part and more just went to the YouTube part. I really liked this trailer a lot, and I think you guys are touching on some really interesting things. The question of, we talk about movie marketing on this show all the time, and the question of how do you sell a Star Wars movie without giving it all away, especially one that is so anticipated, but still telling us the story. Like on Movie Talk yesterday, we talked about the Justice League trailer, and while we all pretty much liked the trailer, we all kind of agreed that there's very little story being put forward. And that's the last trailer probably that we're gonna get for Justice League. So with this being so highly anticipated, they're putting the story out front and center, it would appear. So, and we were talking at our pre-pro meeting before we started rolling, like the idea that are they really going to show you these pivotal moments, even if they are out of context? So what I'm saying is like the idea that, they show you Kylo reaching out his hand to Rey, and if that is a pivotal moment in the film, would they really just put it right out there so that fans are sitting there like waiting? Okay, I know he does this. I know this happens. When is it going to come? So I really liked the trailer. I've got my tickets last night. I'm going to be there on the 14th, like a nerd. And but yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of mystery still in the trailer.
Well, there is a story that the trailer tells us, and whether that's the story that we actually get in The Last Jedi or not, it remains to be seen. But you make a great point when you juxtapose that against the Justice League trailer, because Justice League, that movie comes out a month before the Last Jedi, and we know very little about that from that trailer. So do you think the fact that they gave us a story, what does that tell you? Because I don't think that they needed to do that in order to get us to really want to buy tickets in advance, but I think that they're trying to show us some themes, like this could be something to go see in this movie. So it gets us, if we're already foaming at the mouth, now we're just passed out from excitement.
I think they are trying to warn a general audience that they are going dark with this movie. You know, the poster being all red and being rather, ominous, and the trailer itself, Luke is terrified. We're dealing with a lot of, scary situations if you saw The Force Awakens. Whereas, juxtaposed against The Force Awakens, those were all blues and whites and, very happy and energetic. And of course, there's always an element of the threat, and there's always an element of threat from the dark side in any Star Wars movie. But in this one, I think really what they're trying to tell moms and dads and kids is like, okay, if you like The Force Awakens, great, but just know, like, we're taking this kind of like a Harry Potter in a way, right? Like, as that franchise goes on and the kids get a little older, fair warning, we're going to get a little scarier. So that was communicated to me from all of this material from yesterday.
Well, I'm getting word that we are short on time, so we're going to have to miss your thoughts. We're going to have to go right to the next story.
That's fine. I'm used to it. I just came in the service entrance. Am I still allowed to stay for the whole show?
My favorite thing about flying with John Rocha is seeing how fidgety he gets during flights. He's watching Yankee games. He's very excited. He loves free snacks. And then we got The Last Jedi trailer on top of everything. Give me your take, buddy.
Listen, why do you come to Star Wars? You come to Star Wars for the story. That's what it's about, right? You can give me all the beautiful visuals you want and all the great new vehicles and, the new AT-ATs, whatever you want to call them. The visuals are great, but it's the story. And that's what I enjoyed about this trailer. Clarke alludes to it. We got some references to certain things, but of course, editing, all that going. They never hold hands, Rey and Kylo. People are like, oh, they hold hands. They never hold hands. He holds out and it's a shot. The next shot is her, but they're not actually holding hands. There's so much here. And what we enjoy about it is what we all experience in our lives. There are moments where we feel this power that we have ability to do something, anything in this world. Who's going to help us? Who's going to train us? Who's going to mentor us once we decide what we want to do with our lives? And this is what comes through in the trailer here. I don't think Rey is going evil. I don't buy any of that. I think that's all misdirection. I think Rey is one of the most consistently good people in this whole thing. And she might wake Luke up, because the Luke Skywalker we see now is not the badass Luke Skywalker we knew before. It's not the guy in black saving Han. It's not the guy walking into Jabba's palace going, hey, I'm going to take that boy from you. It's not any of that. He's a scared old man on this planet, on Octo. And what's he going to do? What is she going to awaken in him that's going to make him come back into the fight? And I think this is what's interesting, too, is because the lines are what I embrace here, right? I've seen this raw strength only once before. Who is he talking about? People say, oh, he's talking about Kylo. He could be talking about Anakin. He could be talking about his dad. He could be talking about Emperor Palpatine. He could be talking about anyone that he's actually experienced. And I love that it's left alone. Kylo, let the past die. Kill it if you have to. That's the only way to become what you were meant to be. How many of us have to let go of our past to move forward and become what we really want to be in our lives and forgive that stuff from the past and move forward? Him throwing the helmet against the wall, what does that mean? So there's so much there. And then I love Poe. We have a spark that'll light the fire that'll burn the First Order down. That's powerful stuff, what we're getting here. And finally, Rey, I need someone to show me my place in all this. These are all universal themes. These are all universal things of wanting to destroy evil in the world. Mark, you alluded to something at the beginning of the show, your opening statement about what's going on. It's to destroy bad things in this world because we don't want that to be around for us. And I think all of that is encompassed in this trailer. And yes, the visuals are fantastic. The Red Throne Room, all of that. Is that the Great Tree, or is that the Wills? Is that the Book of the Wills? What is that she's there walking into that bookcase that or whatever it is in the tree? Like, what is that she's finding there? I want to know what the truth is. So there's so much here that it harkens back to old school Star Wars and still echoes into future Star Wars. And I love that. For people who've read it for years and years and read all the novels and all the stuff that's canon and not canon, it's a great homage to the people who are Star Wars fans from the beginning, who've read everything, that we're bringing stuff in from the past. We're referencing stuff. We're going into these situations. So for me, it gets me nothing but incredibly excited, and I think it will blow the doors off Empire Strikes Back. That's my honest belief, that it will decimate Empire Strikes Back. It will become the greatest Star Wars film ever.
So you're going to go see the movie?
I will. And I texted my friend who gets on tickets. He's like, we already got 45 tickets. We're good to go. So we're going.
45 tickets.
45
taking
tickets.
over the theater?
My boys rolled deep. We went 56 to Force Awakens, 47 to Rogue One,
45.
45 to this.
Who has
we rolled
45
deep.
friends?
Me.
Cody's face is the funniest thing. It's just like, what the?
45.
Yep.
I have like 6 people that
I'm
are my
sorry.
friends. You have 45 friends you're going?
At least.
Wow. Well, look, I really hesitate.
Well, when you live this long, you've gathered
Yeah,
friends
exactly.
over the years, right?
I mean, us vampires got to stick together.
Round up the nursing home gang. We're going to The Last Jedi. This gives me pause, and I'm a little nervous to do this because you know what? I'm giving the haters corner a fresh slate. It's no longer the haters corner today. It's just we continue the trailer reaction corner, and we're gonna see how Ashley and Wendy felt about it. Ashley, Mova, you got a chance to watch the trailer.
I
What do you
did. I
think?
guess we can be kind of nice today. Some of the shots in this trailer were so sick. Like when you see Kylo Ren with the contrasting red in the background. I love that shot. The ending was obviously crazy juicy, but what stole this trailer for me? I'm shocked none of you guys mentioned this. The porg with Chewbacca. My heart melted. That stole the trailer for me.
Yeah, same for me. I really definitely noticed that stark red background against Kylo Ren, and I absolutely love that. This trailer gave us so much misdirection, and I left after I watched it. I had way more questions than I had before I started watching this, so I watched it about like 5 more times last night when it was 2 a.m., and I was like, I need to go to bed. I'm very excited for this. I already bought my tickets on the plane. No, I didn't buy 45 tickets, nor was I invited to Rocha's party to the theater, so...
They didn't have enough
the
room.
haters
There
corners
were only
love the
45
trailer,
of them.
but we are going to hate on Rocha for the rest of the day.
Yeah.
Apparently,
exactly.
it's bad to have friends. Apparently, I'm sorry.
Oh, Mr. Popular.
Did y'all like the poster as well that was released right before the trailer came out?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I really. Oh, there's one thing I wanted. I noticed they didn't put Rose in the trailer at all. They're holding her.
No
she's
Rose,
in the
no Del
background.
Toro, no.
She's in the background
She
with-
might be in the background in one
Yeah,
shot,
yeah,
but I
she
didn't
is.
see like Laura Dern. Like a lot of the
Yeah, she
newer
wasn't, like,
cast
featured.
that's being added. This is kind of the continuation of the Force Awakens cast. That's who we got to see the story, but it will be really interesting. It's a great point to note who we are going to get to meet once this movie starts and how they're going to factor into the story that we may or may not know from this trailer. Dennis, do you like the new poster they just
Yeah,
released?
it's interesting because one of my complaints about the Force Awakens poster that it was too busy. There was too many characters on. They didn't even put everyone. What's good about this one is they actually put a lot of people on there, but the way they designed it is that it focuses only really on the 6, right? You have Luke, Rey, Kylo, Leia, Finn, and Poe, and then the rest kind of are there, but they kind of fade away. They're not focused on where the Force Awakens one, everyone was, you could see them clearly. So I like this more. I'm going to be my own little haters corner of the day.
Oh, no.
I'm probably one of the few people. I'm very wary of the porks. I'm scared. I'm scared they're going to, I don't know, they're going to show up and I'm going to be taken out of the movie. I mean, I know everyone finds them really cute, but I'm just worried they're going to cross over into that annoying line. I don't know.
Clarke?
I am neither pro nor anti porg. In fact, I didn't even really. I mean, I knew what it was, but I'm not emotionally invested in a porg, so I don't care either way about a porg. They're cute. Oh, but the little ice foxes. I liked those. Those were chill.
People are calling them ice
Literally.
foxes. They are puppy Jedi dire wolves. That's the canon name
That's
for
canon.
them.
I take your word for it, Mark. But
Yeah,
yeah, I
I'm
dig.
very
it.
excited
I dig
about
the
seeing
trailer. I am indifferent on porgs.
Yeah, I think as far as the poster goes, Roke, I mean, you see a lot of shades of red, and you see that covering even some of Luke's face up top. I think this poster is gorgeous.
Yeah, it is. And to me, if you look at it in a certain way, it looks like Vader's helmet in silhouette, the entire design of it. And so for me, who else would loom over everyone but Anakin, right? It is Luke over and Leia as well, looming over Rey, looming over Kylo. So to me, in a certain way, it looks like Vader's helmet in design with all this stuff. So to me, that just gets me even more excited about it.
Very excited about all of the Last Jedi goodness. And this week on Collider, and probably until the movie actually comes out, we're going to be talking a whole lot about this trailer, certainly on Jedi Council and in the days and weeks to come. All I'm going to say is this. Luke, when he's talking about raw power, he's looking and he looks very scared about whoever he's talking about or to who he's talking to. So maybe he's not talking to Rey, because the look on Luke's face, that's the look I would have if I was talking to a ghost. What? All right, let's move on to our next topic that is not Star Wars, but it's still movie news, so let's do it.
Variety reports that Luc Besson has set his next film with Lionsgate and EuropaCorp, closing a co-production deal for an action movie entitled Anna that will star Helen Mirren, Luke Evans, Cillian Murphy, and newcomer Sasha Luss as Anna. Plot details have not been released at this time, and in a statement released by Lionsgate, the studio announced that they are delighted to be reunited with Luke and his EuropaCorp team, calling Besson a visionary filmmaker who they are proud to work with. Clarke, thoughts on Luc Besson's new movie and cast for the movie Anna?
The cast is fantastic. I mean, we talked about it yesterday a little bit. Luke Evans is just like everything he does, whether it's Gaston or Fast and Furious or it's High Rise and Dr. Marston and the Wonder Women. I mean, like he is just an incredibly diverse and eclectic actor, and I love the idea of him teaming up with somebody like Luc Besson. And then, of course, the rest of the cast is absolutely phenomenal. I was not haters' corner on Valerian. I didn't hate the movie. I thought it was fun for what it was, but I do think that it's smart to keep his budget a little bit smaller. So 30 million is probably a good idea for something like this. So I think it's great, and I think it's really cool, and I think it's really great that A-list actors are excited to team up with someone like Luc Besson, because I think he's a one-of-a-kind kind of filmmaker.
Yeah, I appreciate the visionary elements he's always brought to his films, and as somebody who still has not seen Valerian, I'm sorry, but I had to get Blade Runner in there first. Someone's seen Blade Runner 2049. I like this cast a lot. I echo Clarke's sentiments that it's something where if you're working with Luc Besson, where you might need to reduce the budget, and this movie's reported to cost between $25 to $35 million, which is much more palatable for a studio who is employing a guy who has, again, a great cast. We're not sure about the story yet. I'm excited to see the newcomer Sasha Luss, who's playing Anna. So I think that this is something that I'm looking forward to. I know that Wendy is going to be really excited about this movie for no other reason, because your boy Luke Evans is in it, Wendy. It's got to get you excited.
I mean, I got to meet him at our press room at Comic-Con, and I was all shy, and I was like, hey, can I take a picture with you? And he's like, oh, yeah, sure. It's not every day the live-action Gaston walks into your life, okay? I'm really, really excited. We don't know anything about this, but I am buying a ticket for Luke Evans.
I saw him at a Starbucks one time. Dennis?
I like Clarke. I watched Valerian, and I enjoyed it. It was fun. I don't love the movie, but maybe besides reducing the budget, they learned that let's not name the movies, Valerian in the city of planet of 1,000 planets. It's back to Anna, just like his movie Lucy. That was very short and very successful. Which Luc Besson is a very talented director, and because he has that track record, that track history, they can do that. Because if this was a first-time director or maybe second-time director, and they directed a movie that bombed this badly, they would have. There's no way they would be like, oh, let's make another movie. We're happy to throw more money at you. But because he is who he is, he gets that second chance.
Yeah, the CEO of EuropaCorp, which is producing the film, in a company meeting last month, they mentioned that they want to continue to make the action movies like Taken that they've made, or the sci-fi flicks like The Fifth Element, or even Lucy, where I think that they want to make them more on a budget and really focus on story, Rocha. So maybe they could be the Blumhouse of those genres. Do you see a lot of potential here with Anna and Luc Besson?
Yeah, I do, actually, because Luc Besson works best on a smaller budget. I mean, The Professional was made for $16 million. Lucy was made for $40 million. So, and La Femme Nikita was probably made for even substantially less than that. I think Luke works best when he is reined in. Some artists are just better reined in situations because their visions are more fully realized on smaller budgets. And I think Luke is one of those people. When he gets something like Valerian, which was, to me, was a bit of a mess, and I knew it wasn't going to make any money. I was saying it from the beginning. No one cares about a sci-fi French story. Nobody cares in America about that, and the box office showed that. And so I wasn't surprised by its box office, and I felt bad because I love Lucy. I enjoy Lucy, and I defend Lucy, and they're doing a sequel to that. And also the CEO said they're reducing the number of English language films they do, which is a sign. You know, we need to start understanding that the domestic box office is not the end-all be-all anymore. These people who are creating these films, they want to start making money overseas. You know, so they're gonna. Blade Runner made more money overseas than it did here in the States, right? And so those are those things that they're aspiring to, and they're smart. Limit the budget. 2 to 3 English language films a year, 25 to 30 million each. That way you limit your losses, you know, and you can get the best filmmakers to work within that, work with that toolbox, can create good films. And I love this cast too. And Luke Evans, I've always loved Luke Evans. And of course, what can you say? And Cillian Murphy. If you're not watching Peaky Blinders, you're missing out. And Cillian was great in Red Eye. In everything he's in, even the small part in Dunkirk, he's still very, very good. So it's good to see these people working with Luc Besson and seeing what he can do with this film. And I'm partial to films with Luc Besson films with women's names in it. Lucy and La Femme Nikita. So we'll send Anna to the mix.
Well, I got good news for you because I think they are working on a sequel to Lucy.
Yeah.
They're developing that as well. So Luc Besson is going to be a very busy guy, and Anna is next up from a directorial standpoint. Let's move on to opening this week. I'm seeing a horror movie tonight. Ashley, tell the kids what it is.
It's Happy Death Day. Tree Geldman is a blissfully self-centered collegian who wakes up on her birthday in the bed of a student named Carter. As the morning goes on, Tree gets an eerie feeling that she's experienced the events of this day before. When a masked killer suddenly takes her life in a brutal attack, she once again magically wakes up in Carter's dorm room unharmed. Now the frightened young woman must relive the same day over and over until she figures out who murdered her.
Clarke, I'm seeing this movie tonight. I have 2 questions for you. Am I going to get really scared by it? And am I going to enjoy the fact that I did get scared by it?
Well, so I saw Happy Death Day last week, and I think it is a fun movie. I think it is a fun PG-13 slasher movie. I will say, just because it's PG-13 doesn't necessarily mean it isn't mostly edgy. It's pretty edgy, and a lot of the kill. You know, it is a slasher movie, so there are kills. Kills are obviously highlighted throughout slasher movies, and so there are some fun ones that you actually still get to see. I think my ultimate reaction would be that I would have liked for them to go a little further, a little harder, push the humor a little darker. It's very much kind of like Heathers, but in 2017. So you know, I think that they could have pushed it and been a little more racy. But with that being said, it's still fun. The cast is pretty good. I think anytime you're doing dealing with heavy comedy elements, and you're dealing with very attractive young people, sometimes they haven't learned how to be funny yet.
You got to be really ugly like this to know how to make the funny.
You just have to have some life under you and not be hot all the time before you learn how to be funny. But I think the movie is really fun. I think teenagers are gonna love it, and I think people who love slasher movies. Truly, my friend, our buddy Ryan Turek, is a producer on this film. Nobody loves slasher movies more than him. So him shepherding this is a great thing. Christopher Landon, who kind of was involved in all the Paranormal Activity movies from Paranormal Activity 2 on, is a real unique talent, and he directed this film. So I think it's fun. Go check it out. It's a good little fun, silly Halloween movie.
Big fan of Ryan Turek. Every time I get to see him, whether it's in a studio or it's at a hardware store, I give him a big hug. Rocha, Dennis, is this something that intrigues you guys, or are you going to take a big fat pass?
For me, you know, horror's not really my thing, but I actually enjoyed this trailer, and like even just watching and seeing the concept of it, I could figure out that it's a Blumhouse movie, just because they like taking very high concept stuff that appeals to the masses, and then putting a low budget to it and making it fun, and then that's their formula, and this fits that very well.
Rocha, you have the last word.
I love these things. Look, Groundhog Day is a horror film. I don't care what anybody says. To repeat the same day over and over and over again, come on, and get killed every single time, at the end of the day is annoying as hell. And we saw that in Edge of Tomorrow as well. You know, this idea of repeat. So to me, to them finally putting this concept into a horror film, I'm excited, and I like the trailer. I really did. So I hope it's a good film and I can enjoy it. And I'm sure you're right, Clarke. Maybe they didn't push the humor enough, and you're right. Sometimes these people are still learning on the job training, so to speak. So, but if it's a good film with good bones, I think I'll enjoy it.
Groundhog Day, certainly a horror film for Ned Ryerson. He gets punched in the face like 1,000 times.
Yes, he does.
All right, we're going to go into buy or sell, and we're going to do this in a way where you don't even know the first thing we're buying or selling, although I did kind of tease it up top. So, Ashley, spill the beans.
Late last night, Sylvester Stallone took to his Instagram account to announce he'll be taking the directing reins for Creed 2, with Michael B. Jordan also confirmed to return. Pre-production on the sequel has slowly been moving forward, with the plot involving Adonis Creed and the man who killed his father, Ivan Drago. There's currently no release date set on Creed 2, but depending on how quickly they can get cameras rolling, it's possible we could get the movie as early as late 2018. Mark Byersell, Sly directing Creed 2.
I'm going to buy it, as you might expect. I mean, I'm a huge fan of the Rocky series. I love Creed. I thought Stallone was great. I thought Michael B. Jordan was great. Ryan Coogler was the star of that movie to me, though. I think that the way that he was able to breathe fresh life into this franchise, that it could have been a laughable premise, and he made it something very serious and emotional and a great sports movie that transcends the bounds of just boxing. I don't know that Stallone's going to be able to do all that, but because it is Stallone, he does have the history he does within the Rocky lore. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. Does it make me a little nervous that how much we're pushing Drago and whether he's going to come back or what role he's going to be playing? In my fantasy of fantasy alternate universe, yeah, it'd be great to see Drago have this like evil kid who now has to get knocked out by Creed's kid, but I don't think that's the way they're going to go. I think Stallone probably has something else up his sleeve, and that's why he's been having such a great time teasing us. So I am going to buy this news. I'm very excited for no other reason. That means that Creed 2 is going to be moving forward. Rocha.
I got to sell this. I got to sell this because the two best Rocky movies were not directed by Sylvester Stallone. The first Rocky and Creed. They're the two best. You can love 3. You can love 4 as much as I do, and you can enjoy 2. But and Rocky Balboa, the less said, the better. To me, I don't think Stallone has the chops to direct a film like Coogler does. Like that kind of film. He does Expendables. He does Rambo. He does Staying Alive. He does Paradise Alley. These are not, regaling the best AFI Top 100 films lists. So to me, I think it's a step backwards for the Rocky franchise, where Coogler had really found what we loved about the first film and brought it to life again with Creed. I really wish they could have waited for Ryan and let him do his thing. But look, Stallone is a power in Hollywood. Now back again. Expendable stuff was successful. Creed was successful, so he can push his weight around a little bit and direct this thing. I don't see what the rush is. We waited for Creed a few years after Balboa, so why not wait a little bit longer, get Coogler back in this, get Jordan in the situation. I don't like that they're bringing back Drago. What's next? Mr. T's kid? I mean, it's just like, let's just move past this. That's what I liked about Coogler's thing, is it moved past it, and you gave Rocky a real storyline. And doesn't he have cancer? Isn't he going to die? So it's like, where is he going to play in this thing? So to me, I think you have to focus more on what was enjoyable about Creed, which was the story and the characterization of Michael B. Jordan, of that character and his journey, and his girl. Was it Tessa Thompson? Was his girlfriend?
Yeah.
Yes, Tessa Thompson is who I absolutely love, and so putting them together, that's the story. And I don't know if Stallone has the deft touch to really do that story well.
I don't. It hasn't been confirmed that Drago's going to be back in any capacity, but it has been teased heavily, so you would suspect he's going to play some sort of factor in this. Clarke, how do you see this news with Stallone coming back for Creed 2?
Well, I sell it, but I sell it for a similar reason why I wasn't super excited to hear that J.J. Abrams was back on Star Wars Episode 9. And it's not because they don't make great movies. It's not because I'm a hater's corner on J.J. Abrams or The Force Awakens. It's that I really like the idea of giving new directors a shot to do something really special and innovative and edgy and cool with a established franchise. And that's sort of how I feel about this. I mean, after what Ryan Coogler was able to do with the first Creed movie, why not give him or another young director the same shot?
Very fair point.
So that's where I'm at with that.
How about you, Dennis?
Yeah, I mean, I understand what both Clarke and Rocha are saying. But like you, Ellis, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. I mean, yeah, he's directing-wise, he's like some of the Rocky movies I enjoyed, but then Rambo I didn't care for, the first Expendables. So it's one of those things, I think just because he knows this character so well, he's done it before in the past, I would have preferred Ryan Coogler to come back, but if he's too busy, perhaps after Black Panther, he will move on to something else. Hopefully he has some sort of input. I think he's still a producer on this project. But hopefully, maybe Stallone has gotten more inspired since Creed.
Yeah, I mean, obviously I love the Rocky movies, and Stallone directed Rocky 2 through Rocky 4. He also did Rocky Balboa. He did The Expendables. He did Rocky Balboa, which, again, I thought
It's a lot better than 5.
Sure, but that's not the bar's real low if you talk about that. Antonio Tarver was terrible in that movie, and of course
not an actor.
they
Well, he's a boxer, not
right.
an actor.
But that's the thing. But the guy they chose but Coogler found the right guy to play Michael B. Jordan's foil in the movie. So to me, that speaks it speaks to a good director, and so that's what I think. Stallone's tendency is to go a little bit lower than a bit higher, and that's what concerns me.
Everybody is free to share their opinion here on Movie Talk. Cut his mic. Let's move on to our next story.
Fox Animation, Chernin Entertainment, and Blue Sky Studios announced yesterday that Tom Holland and Will Smith are teaming up for a new animated espionage buddy comedy entitled Spies in Disguise. Based on Lucas Martel's animated original short Pigeon Impossible, the movie features Smith as the voice of Lance Sterling, an Uber spy at the top of his game, and Holland as the voice of Walter, a socially awkward genius who designs Lance's gadgets. The odd couple finds they have to learn to work together as a team and rely on each other in order to save the world. Along with the announcement, 2 images have also been released showing off each new character, with a release date now set for January 18th, 2019. Rocha, buy or sell the new animated movie Spies in Disguise with Will Smith and Tom Holland?
Oh, I buy this idea. I love the first images, and I think Will Smith just carrying forward this renaissance of his since Suicide Squad. I'm happy to see him getting these roles and doing voiceover stuff. Aladdin, we're going to see what he's going to do with Aladdin, so I'm excited for that. And Tom Holland, of course, loved him in Spider-Man, so I'm excited about this. And if you look at who's involved with this, with Fox Animation and Blue Sky Studios, these are the list of their movies. Ice Age, Robots, which I love, Ice Age, Dawn of the Dinosaurs, Rio was really well received, Epic, the Peanuts movie, and then they also co-produced the Simpsons movie, Fantastic Mr. Fox and Book of Life. So there's a really strong track record here. So I'm excited for this. And I watched that Pigeon Impossible movie this morning. This is a very funny movie. So if this is their basis, then I am excited for this to go forward. And I love the look of the animation. And it's how can I say this? It's cute animation without being childish, and that's what I like about it. So it makes me want to go see this movie, and I think those two are incredibly talented and they'll work well together.
Okay, Rocky Balboa is way better than any of the Ice Age movies. I think the best that Blue Sky has done would be when they take other properties, whether they're helping out with The Simpsons or they're doing the Peanuts, which again was a big accomplishment,
yes.
and I do give them a lot of credit for that. So while I'm not as high on the animation studio aspect as Rocha is, I love Will Smith in anything he does. If he's going to be doing some voiceover stuff, he's going to be playing the genie from Aladdin. Now he's going to be doing this. Tom Holland, this storyline has a very Green Hornet vibe almost, where it's maybe an odd couple that has to learn to work together to save the world. So I will be in on it. It's probably primarily for kids. That's okay. I can still enjoy those kind of movies. So I'll give it a buy, Clarke.
Yeah, short and sweet. I'll buy it. Why not? Sounds fine.
This is why I love having you on the panel. Dennis.
Yeah, I'm gonna buy it as well. You have Deadshot and Spider-Man together, and I love the images too because they got they look like their counterparts, and both of them have voices that have a lot of character to them. And I also really enjoyed the Peanuts movie as well.
Let's be excellent to this next story, Ashley.
It's now been almost 10 years since Keanu Reeves has been talking about making a Bill and Ted 3. Now, while appearing at a New York Comic-Con panel for his new movie Replicas, an enticing update on the film has come our way via Keanu, and it looks as if we actually have a title, Bill and Ted Face the Music. Reeves also promised that they are in fact trying to get the movie made, saying, "There's a script out there, we're just trying to get it made. Show business is tough. It's a cautionary tale. They're supposed to save the world, but when we see them, they haven't saved the world, and they're married and have kids. And they're playing to nobody, but they have to write the song and face the music. Hopefully we'll make it before I'm 60. Dennis, buy or sell a Bill and Ted Face the Music movie actually happening?
I'm gonna have to unfortunately sell this. I love the first movie. I loved the first movie when I was a kid. The second movie, not so great, but I mean, it's been how many years since then? I mean, look, even with the high quality of Blade Runner 2049, like I think that factor into its box office success, and I just don't see studios going, okay, we need to make this Bill and Ted 3. You have George Carlin has passed away. He was a big part of those first two
Clarence
movies.
Clemens as well.
Yeah, like I just don't
nice.
see this actually happening. I don't see people not that long ago, but we talked about Men in Black, the spinoff. People aren't clamoring for that. People aren't clamoring for this either.
John Rocha.
Dennis saying you are so incredibly wrong. I can't even begin to tell
this
you.
is gonna blow the box office.
This is gonna
Wait
blow
till
the
this
box
movie comes
office.
out. It's gonna be huge,
Listen to
right?
me, you.
Right. It's gonna be huge, right?
Huge.
Please.
Let me tell you something. Huge.
If this thing
Huge.
comes out, watch the box
Dennis
office.
Tzeng hates Bill and Ted. Sad. No, listen. I was in the room when this happened, first row with Perry Nemiroff when Keanu was talking about it. He is super excited about doing it. He thinks it's hard. He said it's hard to get this film made, and you'd think because people still love Bill and Ted, people still wear Wild Stallion shirts, that it wouldn't be an issue to get this film made. But he's saying he's having a hard time getting it financed, which is a shock to me. So that speaks to your point, Dennis. Absolutely. But I love the premise. This idea that these guys who were so heralded heroes, they got caught up in their own apathy and their own procrastination, and they haven't written the song to save the universe. And furthermore, he says, like, the future comes to visit them and say, you're running out of time. The world's about to end if you don't write this song. So all of that gets me excited. And the way Keanu spoke about it, like, there was genuine joy. And another thing I'll tell you that might sell, when he walked in the room, people exploded. Perry looked at me. She goes, I didn't know he still had this kind of clout. He does. People love Keanu to pieces.
I love Keanu too.
But I think that's what's going to sell the film. And
Why do
people
you
love
hate
Bill and
Keanu
Ted.
Reeves so much?
What's your problem? Haters Corner?
Yeah.
No, but
Zoolander 2 did great too.
well,
I mean, come on.
You can't even compare. Come on. That's not even close. No one's
brings
walking
up
around
a fair
Zoolander
point
t-shirts.
where there's comedies that have been made and it just took way too long to get the sequel off the ground. I thought Dumb and Dumber 2 was capable, but it certainly wasn't the first one. And something like Zoolander 2 was so bad that it actually tainted the first one for me. Clarke, Wolfe, brings some level of sanity to this argument.
Gladly. I buy this. I buy it, and here's how you do it. You do it on Netflix. You do a Netflix type of brand that can, and you don't do it for super expensive. I do think, Dennis, you have a lot of valid points here. And I don't think that this movie needs to cost 50, 60, 70 million dollars. This needs to be a 30 million, maybe lower movie. But I do think that there is something, not even just like novelty factor, I think there's something really funny, inherently funny of Bill and Ted as old guys. And still essentially being Bill and Ted and having families and being caught up in this bigger picture. I also think that, if Lord and Miller aren't doing anything, maybe this would be a fun movie for them to take on, because I think that they have a real knack for making, I don't want to get into the Star Wars thing because I actually think they would have been great for Han Solo, but whatever. But either way, like I think if you put the right pieces together, including a financially reasonable budget and the right sort of release, because again, think about something like Popstar, right? Popstar tanked in the theater, but now that it's on HBO Go, people are discovering it and saying, oh my God, this was the funniest movie of the year. I've always said, and I firmly believe, that if Popstar had come out on Netflix, it would have been the biggest, most popular comedy of the summer. So I think that you're not going to, across 2,500 screens, have Bill and Ted 3 crushing, but you could absolutely find an audience and get people really excited.
Yeah, Dennis, I initially might have been with you. I'm a huge Bill and Ted fan, as you guys probably know, but not hearing the story, I would have been like, yeah, it seems like something that's fun to talk about when they get asked, but it just doesn't seem like anything that really would ever or should ever come to fruition. But hearing this story, that sounds like the real Bill and Ted, that they got this great opportunity, that they changed the course of time and their music aligns the planets, but they still have to write this song. They still have a job to do, and life got in the way, and they're not the most go-getter attitude people ever, so they can get a little apathetic and slobby when it comes to even something as important as saving the world. Now, the end of Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey, I thought that God Gave Rock and Roll to You was the song that they wrote, but maybe that wasn't the case. Maybe they had to write another song. So this is just coincidence because I wasn't at the panel, but the day of that panel, I just happened to be at New York Comic Con walking around wearing my Wild Stallions t-shirt. Not because I knew that Keanu Reeves was on a panel or talking about this, just because I love that band and their music that changed the course of history. And what better way, if they have to write a song by the time they're 60 years old and the clock's running out, why not actually get what they wanted to do all along since the first movie and have Eddie Van Halen join their band and just let the guy crank it out in an afternoon. He did the solo for Beat It in 2 takes. He can still save the world with his music. So I'm going to buy it, Dennis. Sorry. And if it's on Netflix, you can come over and watch it for free.
$100 million.
wow.
You can come over to my place and watch it for free.
You still charge me to use the bathroom?
There is a charge. There's a nominal fee for the bathroom.
Quarter to unlock it.
This is not the only piece of content that we have for you guys there on Collider Video, not by a long shot, because we do have TV Talk and Heroes are going to be up later today. They are daily. You can catch TV Talk live at 11 a.m. We also have our Last Jedi trailer reaction performed by the one, the only Ken Knapsack, as well as some Thor Ragnarok content as well. That's going to be up on the channel. We will be talking more about The Last Jedi on Jedi Council this coming Thursday, and we have an all-new Schmodown is going to be up later today. And on the topic of the Schmodown, in case you kids didn't hear, there is an app now available. The Movie Trivia Schmodown app is now out there for the world. You guys can check out the link in this vid's description to download it, or just follow either Christian, myself, or Schmoes Know on Twitter, where you guys can get all the details. Check out the app. You're going to love it. Play baby carrots and see what happens. All right, because of our time crunch, we are going to skip the mailbag that Mark Riley worked so hard to find for you guys, and we're going to move right to your live Twitter questions. You can tweet us anytime at Collider Video, and Wendy's got a couple of them right now. What do we got?
The first one comes from Louise A. Rivera, who writes, which Comic-Con was better and more enjoyable, San Diego or New York, and why?
That is that's a tough question, because I love both cities for very different reasons. The thing about San Diego Comic-Con is that I usually go to San Diego when I'm like doing stand-up down there. It's a great city to come to, tell jokes at night, then just relax during the day. And you get the opposite of that when you go to San Diego Comic-Con, because you're just in a city. People, it makes San Diego feel like New York. When you go to New York City, the city is so capable of handling any size crowd for any event. And the Javits Center, I think, it got packed. I mean, it's the most that New York Comic-Con has ever felt like the crowds of San Diego Comic-Con. So I really do enjoy both. And I just enjoy the fact that I get to work with such an incredible team at Collider to get to go to these kind of events and celebrate our fandom with all of you. So I will reserve my answer for the end. Rocha?
Oh, Jesus. No, I'm sitting on the fence. It's two, you can't compare them. It's two different things, because New York Comic Con was all about TV, and comic books only a couple of films, and whereas at San Diego was a lot of it is film. And so it's two different things. I will say, I compared it, somebody asked me about it, I compared it to the Rose Bowl versus a Petco Park. The Rose Bowl is the New York Comic Con. It's huge, it's massive, people are excited. You have DJs pumping you up, you have like people prepping you from the beginning for every panel. Whereas San Diego Comic Con, people walk in, there's smaller venues, people are in there, so the excitement is more concentrated. It feels less like a rock concert, whereas New York Comic Con feels like a rock concert, every main panel. So there's the difference too. So it all depends on taste. I enjoyed them both, and they both have their positives, so I could never choose one over the other.
Oh, we're being wishy-washy.
We
Clarke,
have to be.
You want to step up and make a decision?
Actually, no, because I don't think they're comparable either. It's so hard. The layouts are so different. The vibe is so different. At San Diego Comic-Con, I honestly rarely end up in the convention center, and often end up doing all of the activation and installation outside of the convention center. And that's not how New York Comic-Con is. You go in and you're in it, and it goes up instead of out. So it's really two different vibes. I'm sorry, but I cannot decide.
All right, 3 people on the fence, and then there was Dennis.
Yeah, I mean, it's a totally different experience, just because with New York, for New York, what I liked is I prefer the floor experience there, because it's in the Javits Center. Mm-hmm. You have those high ceilings, you have the sun coming in. There are different levels to it, which I enjoyed, because it didn't feel like with San Diego Comic-Con, it's just one giant room, right? And you just walk from one to the other, and it's just kind of a little dull. I do like the panel formats for San Diego better, because you can get to things a lot easier with New York Comic Con. Like, there's one at the MSG, you have to literally walk how many blocks. It took us like 20-30 minutes just to get there, where San Diego has all those panels concentrated. New York, it was fun to go. That was my first New York Comic Con, and the city has a great vibe to it, and we got to hang out, even though we were working like most of the time. So it's tough to say. I have to go to more New York Comic Cons to make that assessment, because I've only been to one, and I've been to like 8 or 9 San Diego versions.
Yeah, Wendy, what was your read? Because you've been to both this year, you San Diego and then New York. What do you think? Which is the better city for Comic-Con?
Okay. It was my first New York Comic Con. I really didn't know what to think, but I love the venue. I love the Javits Center because it's all glass. They called it, like, one part of it, they called it Crystal Palace, which I thought was a fantastic name. I liked the layout of the convention floor and the aesthetic of the convention floor better at New York Comic Con. Like, I just felt that they really had a huge variety of, from comic book to actually like cosplay. Like, they had like cosplay fabrics and pattern that people were able to get. But I do like the setup, like Dennis said, for these panels at San Diego Comic Con a little bit better. I think it's a little bit more easily accessible.
Okay, you know what? I'm going to give the nod to San Diego, and I'll tell you why. Because you can go to New York for any number of reasons. They have great food. They have great entertainment. You can go see a Broadway show. They have like 38 different professional sports teams. And even when those teams are tanking to get a really good draft pick the next year, they always have a huge fan base. San Diego, the Padres were terrible this past year. You lost the Chargers, but you still have Comic-Con. And we love you, San Diego, so I'm going to give the nod to San Diego. All right, let's do one more quick Twitter question. We'll call it a day.
Okay, this next one comes from Joba Fett. And he writes, AMC is doing a special showtime of 6 p.m. on December 14th called Opening Night Fan Event. The tickets are nearly double in price. Any idea why?
Yeah, because I think it's more than one Star Wars movie. I think that you might be able to see, it might just be The Force Awakens playing, and then you get to see The Last Jedi, or it might be a bunch of other movies that are Star Wars related. So you probably get to see more than one picture for that and celebrate, and you get to get into the theater and get warmed up to see The Last Jedi.
I think they include like some. Thad was telling me like collectible cards and
Sweet.
Some, I don't know, maybe like a popcorn tin. I don't know. Include some other physical materials as well. So,
Clarke, you think it's worth the extra bang for your buck?
Oh.
She got her tickets. I
got
got
my tickets. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what's involved.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
But look, if you were just trying to get any ticket you could for Last Jedi and that's what you ended up with, I don't think you're going to be disappointed.
If they offered like cantina-style cocktails beforehand,
There it is.
then you get me. You're gonna get me in there. You're gonna get my tickets.
Well, I'm sure that
gonna need a
Rocha and his
little-
friends are going to sneak in Bloody Mary mix. What do you guys...
Mr. and Mrs. T's Bloody Mary mix, if you remember that reference. But no, listen, they have specialized popcorn tins. I did this for Force Awakens last year. It was really great. Paid extra at El Capitan, and you got this like Darth Vader thing, and you got this like huge steel tin thing to put your popcorn in. So you get little gifts for the $45, $47 you're paying. So that's the experience. Other people who are hardcore Star Wars fans getting these little collectibles.
Man.
We were just at Comic-Con. You know how collectibles work. People go crazy for that stuff.
I paid for my 2 tickets for IMAX 3D. $48 total. So I'm like,
gotcha.
you know what I mean? So it's like for the price of 2 IMAX 3D, the most expensive tickets you can buy, you get 1. I don't know. That seems weird to me.
I got my tickets last night for a screening opening night of The Last Jedi. 1:45 a.m.
Oh.
I'm that guy, and I cannot wait to go see it. All right, that is going to do it for us today on Collider Movie Talk on an action-packed episode. Thank you to everybody for watching. Thank you to our very hardworking crew, some of whom were on a flight back from New York with us last night and somehow managed to wake up and set up all the cameras and equipment here. Plus, Cody's here, too. And we have Dennis Zen on the panel. Where can the kids find you?
you guys can find me on Twitter at ThinkHero, Instagram Dennis.tzng. Yeah, our crew did a great job at New York Comic Con. We worked our asses off there, and a lot of credit goes to them. A lot of you guys don't see them all the time.
A+ performance by everybody at Collider. I give myself a hearty C-. Clarke Wolfe, where can the kids find you?
I give you an A+, Mark Ellis. Yeah, I do. You can find me at Clarke Wolfe, Clarke with an E, Wolfe with an E.
Well, back when he was in school, they didn't have A's and B's. They just had satisfactory or unsatisfactory. John Rocha.
Yeah, we wrote on stone tablets. Listen, you guys can find me at The Rocha Says on Twitter and on Instagram. And yes, we're going to be putting up all the videos on Collider, the YouTube page, and also so you'll read all the coverage on Collider.com. And this morning, a new episode of the Top 10 Show dropped on the SK Plus podcast channel. Please go listen to that. We did it in honor of Jackie Chan's new film, The Foreigner.
Which you are seeing tonight.
Which I am seeing tonight, and I can't wait to do the review tomorrow.
Yeah, and I will say this about John Rocha. He did his second ever stand-up comedy performance opening for me on Thursday night at New York Comedy Club. You crushed it, buddy.
Thank you,
You
man.
crushed it.
Thank you. It was a fun time, and you're very kind to give me a chance. And Schnepp did as well. Schnepp read a fantastic poem.
Yeah. And his blood alcohol level was higher than everybody in the crowds combined. He still managed to pull it off. It was
high.
Well done, Mr. Schnepp. Ashley Mova, where can everybody find you?
Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube, Ashley Mova. Happy Tuesday, guys.
Last but certainly not least, Wendy Lee Zaney.
You can find me on YouTube at The Movie Couple channel, at Wendy Lee Zaney on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat.
I am merely Mark Ellis. Check out the all-new Movie Trivia Schmodown app. You can follow me on Twitter for all the information at Mark Ellis Live. I'll be at the Cincinnati Funny Bone this weekend, Friday and Saturday. Get your tickets at markellislive.com. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Hey everybody, Mark Ellis here. Thanks for watching this episode of Collider Movie Talk. You want to watch more? Then click up here, or you can click right here for more great content from Collider. And if you haven't subscribed to Collider Video, do so right now and share this vid with your friends. Thanks for watching.